All right. This is Donna Imagination with the Healing Garden. Welcome to Shifting Perspectives. This is what I call owning it. Belief. Everything keeps coming down to belief. Now, what a person believes comes down to a few things. You can base that decision off of what you experience. You can base that decision off of what you are told. Or you can base that experience, you can base the belief off of what you desire. Belief means an acceptance that something is true or that it exists. Truth and reality. It is the acceptance. It is the acceptance. It is not what is. It is the acceptance of truth and reality. So you can choose to accept someone else's reality, or you can choose to accept what you experience and what you see, or you can choose to accept what you imagine, or you can choose to accept what you desire. Those are your four options. What you experience is based on your five senses. Your five senses are physical body parts that are absolutely unique to each and every person. No one person sees color the same. No one person tastes anything the same. They're as unique as fingerprints. So what you experience is based on a magnificent combination of uniqueness that is identified only by you. No matter how many variables you come up with, no matter how you slice it, your experience is only ever yours. No one could even ever come close to walking in your shoes. The other acceptance of truth is what we are told. What we are told is an accumulation of fear, of walking in the shoes of other people that are not our own, guilt, and a need to control. These four elements is what makes up of what we are told we should believe. The other option is where manifestation comes in, what we desire. It is when we focus on the desire and we accept the desire as truth before we actually have it in front of us with which to experience with our own senses. And the last is what we imagine, our fantasy. Now, it is a popular consensus that what we are told is the number one thing we should go by. And that is because the one, the center, is missing. Much like what is the center of the universe? Well, what is the center of I? Now, there has been an enemy of I since the dawn of time, and that is you. I and you have been at war for a very long time. So that when I decide that the world is a certain way, you come along and tell me that I'm wrong. In most cases, I agree with you. The problem is, we are all you, and we keep passing the buck because we're all you. You see, the problem with the word you is a follower. So as long as there is another you coming along, we can always change the answer. Now, can't we? So long as there is a you present, there will always be someone else telling us what should or shouldn't be. We call that indecisiveness. We call that unstable. I'm very anti-you at the moment. So that when you said the world was flat, we all agreed. You leads the all. But who is leading the you? And that's the problem. That is the problem. That is precisely the problem. You is a follower. And if you decide something different, if there is another you present, the perspective is going to shift accordingly back to whichever you is present. This makes you a chameleon because you only ever mirror whoever is around you. Now, the all will follow wherever the you will go. And when I stand up and I say what is, you is right there to go, no, it's not. This is it. And I say no. I am I. I lead. You follow. Because all needs to know what is. You see, an archetype changes. Never. An archetype is always stable. Think about electronics for just a moment. Electricity, energy. What happens when you have unstable energy? What happens when you have unstable energy? It's really important that we are stable. There is nothing more stable, more well-defined, more completely precise than the defined I. For the defined I knows who they are. And the defined I knows what they value. And the defined I knows what they love. And the defined I knows what they believe. The defined I knows their name And the defined I knows their perspective because their perspective is truth. Because it's unchanging. Because it is defined. So, I am infinity. I love story. I value choice and growth and kindness and peace and understanding and forward giving. Forward giving. And I believe in world peace. And I believe in logic. And I believe that once I is defined, one single point, one relative will finally exist so that you all will now know who and what you are. Because I have found the philosopher's compass. So I know who I am. And I am establishing a solid point on the map and am becoming the relative. With that stable, solid, defined I, now everyone else can figure out where they belong. And then you will have the right eye with which to chameleon after. And I will stop arguing over, well, I is done arguing. You will stop arguing over who is right. And you will finally follow the I. And when you do, the all will fall into place. We are oneists. We are 1 and 12 and infinity. I am 1. I'm looking for my network of 12. And that begins this beautiful web of networking that completely connects, grounds, and solidifies the energy pool. And then you will know who you are. And then you will know where we are going. And then you will know why we are here. What we experience is limited to only 5 senses. What we experience is only ever determined by what we imagine, by what our perspective is. Our perspective is built completely out of imagination and fantasy. Therefore, imagination and fantasy are real. And imagination and fantasy are based off of what you love, what you value, what you believe, what you desire, what your name is, and what you can see. Imagination is based off of all of that. And there is nothing more stable than an I. There is nothing more stable than I. This is pure confidence. Hierarchy brains will perceive that lesson as I think I'm in charge. Non-hierarchy brains will realize that I is a point on a map. Riddle it out. How many points are on a map?